You leave a good night out. Nothing went wrong. You laughed. It was fine. You might even have enjoyed it. You get home, you close the door, and you're hollow. Not sad, not bored, just empty, like something was being quietly drained out of you all evening, and you're only feeling it now. If that's you, here's the first thing to understand. It is not because you're an introvert. That's the lazy explanation, and the research says it's wrong. Being around people tires almost everyone. But there's a specific reason a sharp, perceptive mind feels it the hardest. And 2,000 years ago, a man who could never once escape the crowd wrote down the cure. It's the reason this channel is called what it's called. We'll get there. Let's start with the study, because it quietly kills the usual excuse. Researchers followed dozens of people for 12 days, pinging them 5 times a day. What are you doing? How do you feel? And being sociable did something strange. In the moment, it felt great. People reported better mood and even more energy while they were with others. No drain at all. The catch came about 3 hours later. That's when the fatigue showed up. Happy now, tired later. And here's the line that matters. How tired you got tracked. One thing above all else, the number of people you'd been around. More people, bigger bill. But it did not track whether you were an introvert or an extrovert. The extroverts got just as tired. So this was never an introvert problem. It's a human one. The crowd taxes everyone. You just don't get the invoice until you're already home with the door shut. So why do some people feel it so much harder than others? The study counted how many people you were around. But you and I both know 2 people in the same room aren't having the same experience. One is half present, nodding along. The other, maybe you, is reading the entire room. The micro shift in someone's tone, the thing the quiet one didn't say, the flicker of tension between 2 people across the table that nobody else even noticed. You're not attending the conversation. You're running the whole room in real time all night. And every face you read, every current you track, is one more thing your mind is quietly carrying. So when the bill comes due 3 hours later, yours is bigger, not because you're fragile, but because you were doing far more the entire time. The ancients felt this too, and here I have to be straight with you, because the easy version of this video would lie. Seneca wrote an entire letter about crowds, and people love to quote it as if he were describing social exhaustion. He wasn't. Read it honestly, and his fear is different, and frankly, more unsettling. Seneca's worry wasn't that the crowd drained him, it's that the crowd changed him. I never bring back home, he wrote, the same character that I took abroad with me. He'd leave calm and return a little more vain, a little more greedy, a little more like the people he'd been standing next to. The greater the mob with which we mingle, he warned, the greater the danger. So sit with that, because it doubles the problem. The crowd hands you 2 bills, not one. There's the bill, the science measured, your energy, and there's the older, quieter bill, Seneca measured, your character. 2 different costs, the same source, and, remarkably, the same cure. And that cure was written down by the one person alive with the least possible chance of escaping people, a Roman emperor. Marcus Aurelius could not get away. There was always a court, an army, a line of petitioners at the door. So listen to what he tells himself. People go looking for escapes, he writes. Houses in the country, seashores, and mountains. You crave those too, he admits. But then, the line that turns the whole thing over, that craving to escape, he says, is the mark of the most common sort of men, because it is in thy power, whenever thou shalt choose, to retire into thyself. You don't need the country house, you don't need the weekend away. You can withdraw, not from the room, but into your own mind, anytime you choose. And he doesn't mean once, he means it as a habit. Constantly, he says, give to thyself this retreat, and renew thyself. And then, Marcus gives that inner retreat a name. This is the part I've been waiting to tell you. In another passage, he describes a mind that is pulled back into itself, settled, self-possessed, no longer yanked around by the passions a crowd stirs up. A mind like that, he says, is untakeable. And he reaches for a single word for it: He calls it a citadel. The mind which is free from passions, Marcus writes, is a citadel, for man has nothing more secure to which he can fly for refuge. A fortress inside you that no crowd can enter and no evening can drain. The Stoics called it the inner citadel, and yes, that is exactly where this channel got its name. It was never decoration, it's the whole practice. It's this. So, what does retreating into the citadel look like tonight after the party? First, don't pathologize the empty feeling and don't blame your personality. It's just the bill you spent. Now you restore. Take the retreat on purpose, a few quiet minutes, alone, no new input, letting the borrowed moods and the routed worries settle back down. Marcus did it between audiences with the Empire. You can do it in a parked car before you walk through your own front door. Second, Seneca's rule for who you let pass the walls. 3 lines: withdraw into yourself as far as you can, keep the company of the people who make you better, and let in the ones you can make better. Everyone else, you're allowed to love from a distance. And then the line of his I can't shake, written to a single friend, not a crowd. Each of us is enough of an audience for the other. You were never meant to perform for the room. So tonight, when the door closes and the quiet comes in, don't rush to fill it. Retreat into the citadel. Let it do what fortresses are for. If you'd like to live inside Marcus's mind a while, his meditations, the Hayes translation, is linked below. Take care of yourself. I'll see you in the next one.